Hi friends, we've been talking about where we live and the different kinds of houses and apartment buildings and other structures that we live in. Did you know that a house before it's built, or an apartment building, or any kind of structure, before it's built, people draw plans. Plans is just a picture of what they're going to build, and these people are called architects. So that's their job. They're community helpers. Their job is to be an architect, and they design the building that the construction workers are then going to build. I have a story about a young architect called Iggy Peck, and Iggy Peck wants to be an architect. Young Iggy Peck is an architect and has been since he was 2, when he built a great tower in only an hour with nothing but diapers and glue. "Good gracious," his mother exclaimed, "that's the coolest thing I've seen." But her smile faded fast as a light wind blew past, and she realized those diapers weren't clean. "My son, what on earth have you done? That's disgusting and nasty. It stinks." But Iggy was gone. He was out on the lawn using dirt clods to build a sphinx. When Iggy was 3, his parents could see his unusual passion would stay. He built churches and chapels from peaches and apples, and temples from modeling clay. At dinner one night, to his father's delight, Iggy got a bright gleam in his eye. And out on the porch, the St. Louis arch from pancakes and coconut pie. Look at that. Dear Ig had it made until 2nd grade, when his teacher was Miss Lily Gear. On the very first day, she had this to say: "We do not talk of buildings in here. Gothic or Romanesque, I couldn't care less about buildings ancient or new." She said in her lecture about architecture that it had no place in grade 2. That's sad. I think we should always be building, regardless of what grade we're in. That might seem severe, but she was sincere, for when she was no more than 7, she had a great fright at a dizzying height in a building so tall it scraped heaven. On an architect's tour of the 95th floor, young Lilla got lost from the group. Those are very tall buildings. I could see how it could be a little bit scary up there. She was found 2 days later in a stuck elevator eating cheese with a French circus troupe. After that day, it's quite safe to say she thought all building lovers were nuts. As a teacher, she taught that above all, one ought to avoid them, not ifs, ands, or buts. As you might guess, it would cause Iggy stress to hear such terrible talk. But he didn't hear. He sat in the rear while building a castle of chalk. "You, Iggy Peck, your desk is a wreck. Tear down that castle right now. You will not build in here. Is that perfectly clear? Do you need to see Principal Howe?" "No, ma'am," Iggy said. He lowered his head and his heart sank down to the floor. With no chance to build, his interest was killed. Now 2nd grade was a bore. After 12 long days that passed in a haze of reading, writing, and arithmetic, Miss Gear took the class to Blue River Pass for a hike and an old-fashioned picnic. They crossed an old trestle to a small island nestled in the heart of a burbling stream. But they no sooner passed than the footbridge collapsed, and Miss Lilla Greer started to scream. "We're trapped here, oh my! Alas, kids, goodbye!" Her eyeballs rolled back in her head. She dropped to the ground with a vague groaning sound. Luckily fainted, not dead. How are they going to get back across the river? The class was amazed. They stood there quite dazed, uncertain of what they should do. But one bright young man was off hatching a plan which started with Miss Lilla's shoe. Soon each lad and lass there on the Blue River Pass were working together as one. What do you think they're building? And when she came to, Miss Lilla Greer knew that something quite brave had been done. The architect designed a bridge, and they built it. She looked in the air and saw hanging there a structure with cables and braces, and on the far side, beaming with pride, her 17 smiling young faces. Boots, tree roots, and strings, fruit roll-ups, and things, some of which should not be mentioned, were stretched ridge to ridge in a glorious bridge dangling from shoestring suspension. Look at that. It all became clear to Miss Lilla Greer as soon as she crossed the bridge over the stream. There are worse things to do when you're in grade 2 than to spend your time building a dream. Now every week at Blue River Creek, elementary and second grade, all the school kids can hear, along with Miss Greer, how the world's greatest buildings are made. The weekly guest speaker in t-shirt and sneakers talks of buildings from Rome to Quebec. Of course, he's the guy who builds towers from pie. That brilliant young man, Iggy Peck. I love building. I like building with blocks, paper towel and toilet paper rolls, cans, boxes, snap cubes, anything that you can imagine you can build with. So I hope you have fun during our month on Where We Live, building different things and imagining what we can use those for. We can build bridges and tunnels and houses and towers, buildings, anything that our thoughts and our hearts can imagine. So go out there and build. Have fun.